What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of the G Funk Junkies Podcast. I'm your host, Wyse Up 89. Today, my co-host is taking the night off, so I'm writing solo. So I thought, hey, why not share my thoughts on one of my favorite albums growing up? Now, the limelight of Chicano rap has heavily focused on LA, what is often called the birthplace of the subgenre, and San Diego, what I like to refer to as the Mecca, the heart, and the soul of Chicano rap. However, much like the OC, the Inland Empire has gone largely unaccredited for its involvement and contributions to the game. When you mention the IE, most people think of, lighter shade of brown, Little Blackie, or perhaps Little Sicko. But no, not I. No, sir. The first thing that comes to mind is this long-forgotten group, the Lyrikal Sound Dealerz, otherwise known as LSD.
What's up, fools? It's the Lyrikal Sound Dealerz from 1995.
Back in 1992, Familia Records blessed us with a first glimpse of the Lyrikal Sound Dealerz through a little single titled Brown Pride, which had a beautifully crafted instrumental showcasing the group's greatest asset, sampling.
It's the Joker right now with the Latin soul. Pull to the curb to meet some fine Dutches. Grab one and use the pickup line suches. Hey, baby, be sweet, tender.
Yes, sampling and production is what makes their debut album incredible. Now, as the Joker of LSD, rest in peace, once said, the Inland Empire getting fitted like a primos. Now, this quote right here, this is what ties the story of the 1995 album Fully Strapped together. Let me drop some glitcha with this interesting little fact and clarify this for a lot of people. The original incarnation of LSD consisted of 3 people: Joker, Puppet, and JMB.
LSD, if you remember, in 91, we came out with Brown Pride, which was originally LSD, formed with three members. It was me, JMB, and Puppet.
The other set of rappers you hear on the album are actually a separate group from San Bernardino called Fully Strapped.
How'd you click up with Fully Strapped? Because they were a separate group from LSD, right?
They were. What happened was I ended up bringing on Rated X, so then me and Rated X did it, and then that's when the Fully Strapped Battalion came in, and then that's when we just, what I mean?
Fully Strapped is a whole separate group that is affiliated with LSD, but not part of LSD. Now, Fully Strapped consisted of rappers A-Bomb, Channel Brown, Rated X, Chaos, and for whatever reason, what I would like to think, and a credit to probably censorship from Murray Brumfield's part, was removing or not including another member from Fully Strapped who goes by the name of Lenny. And I'll go into further detail in another podcast about why that is and why I think that happened. But for now, here's a little fun fact. The album was originally intended to be called Look Who's Coming to Your City, and I believe Murray Brumfield put his quote-unquote creative touch on the album and made them one single group, with the album title being an homage to the latter. Or you could, postulate what Joker had mentioned in an interview, that he thinks that maybe Rated X went behind his back and changed the album title.
See, that was the name of the album was supposed to be called Look Who's Coming to Your City. But Murray's the one that changed it to Fully Strapped.
You changed it to the group name to Fully Strapped, right?
Yeah, he changed it. So,
yeah,
because I was the one that was signed with Familia, me and Rated X. I was like, hey, no, I want to call it Look Who's Coming to Your City. So Rated X, fucking behind my back, probably told him. But I don't know how that went, but it ended up coming out when it got released. It was in the stores already. It was in Warehouse, Tower Records. It was everywhere. I couldn't do nothing about it. It was already printed.
Now, here's a story about Fully Strapped. They had actually independently released an album the year before their collaboration effort with LSD. That project was called Hostile Takeover. Now, some of these songs can be heard on some of the Familia Records releases throughout the decade. such as the song Hostile Takeover, sometimes retitled as Don't Give a Fuck, Funk for Your Trunk. However, those songs were credited under the group name Inland Click, which this is a whole nother story that I will get into at some other point. But for the sake of, making this as less confusing as possible, let me get back to this. The original LSD group had disbanded from infighting. Joker luckily remained signed to Familiar Records, and Murray Brumfield still wanted to do an LSD album. So naturally, Joker brought Rated X to record, and along with him came Channel Brown and the rest of the Fully Strapped Battalion.
We all got signed with Familiar Records, and then what happened was they ended up, we didn't get along. In other words, you know what I mean? Right. So we broke up, and then they started their own group called the Aztec Boys or something. And then the owner of Familia was like, nah, I still want to do LSD. So I was the last one. So I ended up bringing on Rated X, and then and then that's when the Fully Strapped Battalion came in. So we just did our thing, and we just ended up coming together, and we just did that Fully Strapped album.
I first bought this album back in 2005, maybe 2006, for like $13 at the indoor swap meet in Oceanside, right off of Mission Avenue. Unfortunately, this place is no longer open due to COVID, and I think it's shut down since. So, just a little piece of Oceanside dying away. Now, when I first got this back in the day, unbeknownst to me, I had actually copped the reprint with Joker on the cover. Now, the 1995 version, which I ended up buying many years later, is a little different. The cover actually has the Cholo character from the tape single printed in red and green over a white background in homage to the Mexican flag. This second pressing from 1998 included a single from 1992 as the first track, bringing it to a total of 11 songs, while the original print consists of only 10 tracks, not including the single from the tape. I actually really like the cover and have it framed on my wall. It's visually appealing. I love the fact that there's a character to the group, and I will stress the fact that less is more, and this cover has that working to its advantage. And I can clearly see why this was the fastest selling record in Familiar Records catalog, having actually gone gold, believe it or not.
When they came out, there's different levels of rap. LSD was probably the fastest selling Chicano rap group of all time, because they just sold fast. LSD came, they just shot through the roof. They just ripped it up.
Because that album went gold.
Any gold flags get sent out, or?
Yep.
So the way that this album starts off, the first two tracks, Two Man Gang and Something for Yahudas, it's very different. They feature only Joker, and in comparison sound grim and flat in contrast to the rest of the album. They're not bad songs, but they almost don't seem to fit in with the rest of the track list. That is, they're devoid of funk samples like the remainder of the album. Track number 1, Two Man Gang, silently starts with news report of a real-life news coverage regarding a drug bust back in 1994.
And in Riverside County today, a huge drug bust, 5.5
then
tons
starts to get mixed in with a screech followed by the boom bap of the beat. Right off the bat, you can hear Joker name drop his neighborhood.
The Riverside Lagote, south of our city, our attitudes are shitty. Let's dog up the kitty, we're straight up.
The song itself is driven more by Joker's rhyme scheme than by the actual instrumental. The chorus to this song is actually enjoyable because you get to hear a sample or a little snippet of MC Ren's vocals from Two Hard Motherfuckers, because we're something like a two-man gang. Now, I couldn't really make out the other samples at the end of the song, which sounds more like a squawking sound. It's not my favorite, but I tend to just kind of zone out when the song plays. Moving on to track 2, Something for Yahudas.
That's something for Yahudas.
You can hear guitar strumming and a thumping bass line when the song starts to play. I'm not really thrilled about the song either. It's not really for me. But I do like how he does a whole roll call of his neighborhood.
Get droopy and psycho, sneaky, shorty, and scrappy kept the rifles. Grumpy ass Bronco, Joker's demons tripping. We got hollow tips.
You know what's really cool is the homage they have for Cheech and Chong, where they sample a clip from when the SWAT team arrives to the hotel scene. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not sure if most people actually knew where this was from, but now you know.
You there, you are under arrest. Hey, Spyro, hide that shit. You won't get hurt. I said come out, or we're coming in.
You can actually hear a line that was later used in another song. The part that goes, so what you gonna do when I come and hunt you? That was actually used for another Inland Click song.
So what you gonna do when I come and hunt you?
Now, track number 3, Brown Pride. The album really picks up on this third track. Although not titled as a remix, it is acknowledged as so. In the beginning, when you hear brothers A-Bomb and Channel Brown simultaneously introduce Joker.
What matters in the inside matters in the outside. LSD, come with that remix, Brown Pride. Smooth coming up the south side, riverside homes.
Now, as soon as the beat drops, it's sure to knock you off your ass with its heavy drums and slow down tempo. I really love the way that they sampled Atomic Dog here. Plus, you also get to hear how they mixed in the Beastie Boys. Also, you get to hear Joker drop a line that's used in that same Inland Click song I mentioned earlier.
Smooth coming up the south side, riverside homes. Down for the brown, it's the pride homes. The Mexicanos in the carro, going to the barrio. The Mexicanos in the carro. So what you gonna do when I come and hunt you?
I think the song gets progressively better, with Channel Brown, in my opinion, having the best verse of all three, with his raspy vocals and a sinister approach. I mean, he just fucking tears this track up. Even the way he kicks off his first verse is captivating as fuck.
Lock your motherfucking doors up. Channel Brown's on the mic and I'm just getting warmed up. Breaking you coffin into a coffin. Could it be an area next I'm stalking?
My only critique is the concept of the song, Brown Pride. Don't get me wrong, I love being Mexican, I love being Chicano. However, I understand the limitations of this song's concepts, lyrics, and the title. This is what's boxed us in forever. Now you're probably saying, shit, black people talk about how black they are all the damn time and everybody buys their shit. I get it. However, if you're trying to appeal to larger audiences and different demographics in the US, they don't want to hear how fucking Mexican we are. There's always been an anti-Mexican sentiment in both the rap industry and American music in general. Now, worldwide appeal, that's a different story. To foreigners listening to our content and music, they're more willing to listen because the music is coming from America. They got more love for us in Japan, Germany, France, and Mexico than they do for us here in the States. I think people are thinking too small when it comes to how far they think their music is going to reach. Track number 4, After Dark. Man, what a way to follow up the previous track. After Dark has some of the best sampling and mixing on the record. We hear a dark and heavy sample of Sexual Harassment's I Need a Freak before the funky worm synth kicks in. But it doesn't end there. The bass is so deep that you feel it in your chest just fucking rattling. The song has some of my favorite Joker quotes. I mean, he goes, "Say what's up to the homies, 2 kegs up, no need to ask, y'all know me. A West Side party, you can tell from the gang signs." Man, you know, that's before you get to hear the shots ring out and the beat drops and you hear Egyptian Lover begin to play while Joker switches up his tempo and flow to the new instrumental on what has to be the highlight of the song. What will I do when I get out of jail?
I'll go get my gun and an ounce from the mail. So I stroke when the rain when I'm tripping.
Fucking with me may result in ass whipping. That has always been my shit. Ever since high school, man. I just turn up that part. That's like the best part of the fucking song. Just the way that he writes the new instrumental with specific cadence. You know, not to mention just the funny shit that Joker says, man. Like when he talks about leaving a fucking leaving a roach at the crime scene.
To avoid being harmed, that's how we bring the alarm after dark when we park and spark in the back. I leave a rope just like Valentino. Why we looking for the noise?
Not giving a fuck about evidence. I mean, I just love this song. This instrumental that plays at the end, man, forget about it. This puts me in a trance. Track number 5.
Shut the fuck up. Give me a funky ass bass line.
Even the skits on this album are dope. Shut the Fuck Up is a little short track with an instrumental that's bound to get you to bob your head into the beat. It's a catchy sample of Theme from the Black Hole by Parliament, and also Sing a Simple Song by Sly and the Family Stones, or the same beat as the infamous Humpty Dance, whatever you want to attribute it to. To top it off, we also get to hear a prevalent sample of Zapp and Rogers' Dance Floor that just, puts the song together. Not to mention the fact that Eazy-E's line where the song takes its name from, I mean, what a classic way to sample this shit. You can also catch a trace of the ooze from the Soul to Soul's Back to Life song. I thought it was pretty cleverly mixed in. The only thing that I don't like is that nobody rapped to this funky beat. But as I mentioned earlier, it really just displays Rated X's magnificent sampling. Track number 6, Bomb Hits. When you hear the thump and the synth that kicks in as soon as this fucking song starts, man, you know something's about to go down. This was a song that prompted me to buy this album 4 times over. Damn. Bomb Hits features our boy A-Bomb, not even old enough to fucking drive, doing his thing over a funky loop of She Talks to Me with Her Body, a classic sample from the Bar-Kays. This song instantly captivated me. I mean, it's got a very engaging beat to begin with, not to mention the catchy lyrics from a young A-Bomb.
Slap on that wicked Asian fools won't say nothing. The capital W to the motherfucking S. The dark part of the west side Roscoe's causing all that stress. So yes, you best need to get the fuck on. Cause Roscoe got the edge on the trigger, you get fucked.
This may sound a little familiar to a song from South Central Cartel called Funk for Your Trunk with the instrumental and all.
As I switch down to 91 West, yes, I got to wear a bulletproof vest. Fools wanna trip, so I trip back on them.
And I'm just gonna say this. The song Bomb Hits dropped 2 years before SEC, so you make your own conclusions. You may have also noticed the occasional Eazy-E line that's dropped on here from the Dope Man. The part where he goes, "Y'all Mexicans always come with this shit." You goddamn right we do.
Damn.
Alright, story time. First time I heard LSD was on a compilation, Chicano Rap Volume 3 by Familia Records. I didn't know much about the group, nor did I know that they actually had more music. Then one day, I was at my homie's canton kicking back, lifting weights, when his steel came in and stopped the music that we were playing. He popped in this new album he just picked up at the swap meet, and the song The IE by A-Bomb started playing. This is a variant version of Bomb Hits with minor changes.
Mobbing down, mom, running about creating havoc. 3-wheel motion when I'm coasting with no static. The amp's getting hot, pumping rope, you don't want none. Now old enough to drop away, bomb sitting shotgun.
I was like, that's it. That's the shit I'm looking for. That's the beat, the sample, the synthesizer. That's what I wanted to hear. This put me on a lengthy mission to find a copy for myself, and thus embarking me on the mission to buy my very first Chicano rap album. So yes, you all have this album to thank for my love and appreciation for Chicano rap. So if you don't have it, go buy it. Now, track number 7, Essay Ride.
LSD's in your system, and welcome aboard the Essay Ride.
Though the next song has a softer approach, being a sample of Oh Honey, Naturally, the tone is mellow on Essay Ride and until about the halfway point. Then the beat cuts off and the tone changes to a menacing tempo of drums from Friends by Houdini. And Joker does it yet again, switching up his versatile style of rhyming the flow to the instrumental at the drop of a hat.
Lyrikal Sound Dealerz, I chill in Riverside. Yo, this control substance quick to get you high. G&I, run, motherfuckers pop the crete. Drop the chopete, homicide when 87. Joker will play ya, ho and don't pay ya. Chicano favors, a favor I gave her. So roll like a coaster, all hands up in the air. Don't freeze for a cop, yo, nothing compares. It's J&B and the Joker of LSD in the year 95.
Yes, this is an overused sample, I agree, but I still dig it, even though the other sampling of Impeach the President by the Honey Dippers sounds a little bugged out. Track 8, Once Again in the Holding Tank. If a thumping bass line is what gets you going, Once Again in the Holding Tank is the jam for you. This is what I love about the production. The songs are meant to be bumped loudly. Some shit to rattle your trunk. Some shit to annoy your fucking neighbors with just bumping music.
Overwhelmed by minorities, so fuck authority. Tonight this one fewer. Fuck California's judicial system. Got a meeting with a gang of dead presidents that can't afford to miss them.
I mean, what Chicano album is complete without a Zapp and Roger sample, right? I Can Make You Dance gets sampled incredibly with a tinge of Genius of Love and the ever-popular Funky One, along with backstroking and some vocals that I can't pinpoint in the chorus. I think this is a very creative instrumental laced with hilarious irony too.
What the fuck did I do? So illegal, the car jacked the cop, the shot a few people.
This instrumental is just emanating funk through the speaker. I just wish that there was a clear instrumental version of this. If I can find a way to loop this track, I definitely will. Track number 9, The Last Skit. This actually pays homage to the producer, so X Marks Your Spot is a clever pun on the producer's name. Of course, I'm talking about X Marks Your Spot, in reference to Rated X, is an instrumental I wish they would have rapped to. But alas, it's definitely worth noting that Rated X is as responsible for this gem as a talented roster of rappers. I really love the way that they pulled off the Rock Creek Park sample by the Blackbirds. It's a genuinely enjoyable tune, mixed in with Soul to Soul's Fair Play, which was famously sampled by EPMD and probably the one song that most people recognize rather than the actual sample. Last but not least, track number 10.
Look, motherfucker, who's coming to your city?
Look Who's Coming to Your City wraps up the album with an incredible barrage of verses beginning with Joker and A-Bomb over a multitude of samples.
Cause I'm riding more than a motherfucking eagle. Dip down, go Dayton's in a dark blue wiggle. You can see though, I bring it wicked shit that's in the darkness. Hand over the light blue so I can just spot it. We letting you know where we coming from. Big bad Inland Empire, fool, you don't want none.
I can't name all the samples here, just because they're so well mixed and some I can't even recognize, or even some of them are just too well embedded that I can't recognize too well. But somewhere in the middle of the instrumental, it switches up to Pistol Grip Pump, and then once again my favorite rapper from Fully Strapped, Channel Brown, rides the beat with his raspy vocals, sparking some charisma all over the rhymes before Chaos gets the final verse.
Feeling like a nut, plus I'm fucking with these hoes, but I'll be knocking the heels from under, keep these bitches on them toes. Fully strapped, coming through like I'm carving, taking out security like Highland and Arden, coming from the compound, yeah, I put my top down.
Now, this song's second half was used as an instrumental on another project, that was released after this album, but before the Inland Click album, that was actually released on Explicit Records under yet another name. It was actually titled Brown Pride Suicide Homicide. I hate the cover for that album, or that EP, or whatever the fuck it is, but I love the music that is contained in there. I just wish that it was still in circulation so I could buy a third copy. I wanted to wrap up my thoughts and tell you all how much I really enjoy this album. It's a breeze playing this front to back, sitting at just over 37 minutes of pure unadulterated gangster funk. The running theme across most of the songs, if you haven't caught it by now, is the consistent use of clips of either Eazy-E or NWA, which is an enjoyable homage to them. In my opinion, this is a West Coast gem and a staple of Chicano rap classics. The production was superb, the rappers are talented, and the selection of samples is simply amazing. This is definitely an underrated classic that should have had a longer lasting and bigger impact on the scene. So to the G Funk Junkies out there, it's time to dust this off your shelves and cruise to this. And if you don't have it, I strongly recommend it. Y'all are extremely lucky that this is now available on iTunes for purchase, on Spotify for streaming, or physically available online despite it being expensive as shit. But, I mean, you can even download this illegally if you want to, but I didn't have that when I was growing up. You know, this album I actually had to hunt down swap meet to swap meet. Now, with that said, I want to give a few shout outs to my co-host 6190E, what's up player? To my homies ALR and GPA for showing nothing but love and support from day one. Shout out to the original Chicano Rap channel on Instagram for their support as well. Shout out to Joni for showing us love on her Rodeon Radio appearance. The fans for listening to what we gotta say. Shout out to my boys Colt 714, The Criminal in Washington, and Khalifa Rap for doing the only interview on LSD. Also, rest in peace to Frank Luna, aka Channel Brown, who passed away February 13th of 2003, if I'm not mistaken. And last but not least, rest in peace to Chris Ledezma, aka Joker, who passed away January 25th of last year. And with that said, thanks for listening, and like always,
just chill till the next episode.